Hi everyone. This week we are going to be working on understanding context clues. We are going to use context clues to find the meaning of unknown words. There are strategies we can use to help us understand what those tricky words mean. I will be teaching you some context clues that readers use when solving unknown words. So let's get started. First, what are context clues? Context clues are hints that an author gives to help define a difficult or unusual word. The clue may appear within the same sentence as the unknown word, or the clue may be in a surrounding or nearby sentence. You must hunt for the clues. So how do readers use context clues? Readers pay attention to the pictures, the surrounding sentences, any synonyms or antonyms given, any word parts used, the examples and definitions given, and any helping words that are used. Now that we know how readers use context clues, we're going to take a closer look at each one. Readers can look for definitions. Definition explains the meaning of the word. For example, in this sentence, you can tell Mrs. Leonard is benevolent by the way she treats everyone kindly. The underlined word shows the definition of the orange word. Readers can also look for examples. Examples give an example of the word. Mrs. Leonard is a benevolent person and feeds the homeless every Saturday. So benevolent is our word, and the underlined words are show an example. We can tell she's benevolent, she's kind, because she feeds the homeless every Saturday. Readers can also look for synonyms. A synonym is a word that has the same meaning as the unknown word. Mrs. Leonard is benevolent and generous to others who are in need. The underlined word shows the synonym, generous. Readers can also look for antonyms. Antonyms give a word with an opposite meaning for the unknown word. Mrs. Leonard is benevolent, but her brother is uncaring. The underlined word shows the antonym, uncaring. Readers can look for inferences. An inference is thinking about what makes sense. I know Mrs. Leonard will want to help feed the homeless. She is very benevolent. The underlined words show the inference. Readers can look for helping words or word parts. Sometimes there might be a word or phrase in a sentence that connects a word to its meaning. That's a helping word. Some examples are like, such as, or, are, called, named. A word might contain a prefix, suffix, or root word that helps give meaning to that unknown word. That's a word part, like re, un, full, ness, by, aqua. There are so many strategies we can use to solve unknown words. Now that we learned different clues readers can look for when solving unknown words, we will apply our knowledge to some riddles. I learned in school that rain, sleet, hail, and snow are types of precipitation in our environment. Using context clues, what do you think the word precipitation means? It means condensation in the atmosphere. The context clue are examples. In the sentence, we have examples of precipitation: rain, sleet, hail, and snow. Here's another riddle. Listen closely to determine the word meaning and context clue. When I looked at the weather forecast, the meteorologist, or weatherman, said that it might rain. Using the context clues in the sentence, what is a meteorologist? A meteorologist is a weatherman. The type of context clue is definition. It tells you right there in the sentence that a meteorologist is a weatherman. Here's riddle number 3. Listen closely to determine the word meaning and context clue. Since it will probably rain, I thought it would be smart for me to take my bumbershoot to keep me dry. Using context clues, what do you think a bumbershoot is? It's an umbrella. The context clue here is inferencing. You can infer using the words "it will probably rain" and "to keep me dry." Those phrases help you infer. Here's riddle number 4. Listen closely to determine the word meaning and context clue. Unlike me, who thought ahead, my brother Sammy was not as clever. He got soaking wet outside. The word clever means, how can you use context clues to figure out what the word clever means? It means smart. And you can use the type of context clue, an antonym. Right here it says, unlike me, who thought ahead, he was not as clever. So using an antonym, you can use the context clue to figure out what the word clever means. Here's the next riddle. Listen closely to determine the word meaning and context clue. Sammy was so cantankerous when he got home. His cranky attitude put everyone in a bad mood. Using context clues, what do you think the word cantankerous means? It means cranky or irritable. And the type of context clue is a synonym. Right here it says his cranky attitude. Cranky is a synonym for the word cantankerous. Here's the last riddle. Listen closely to determine the word meaning and context clue. I told Sammy that he needs to buy an accessory, like a raincoat or umbrella, and use it the next time it rains. What do you think the word accessory means? It's an item or a piece of clothing to be used. The type of context clue is example. We have an example of an accessory right here, a raincoat or umbrella. You are going to use the clues in each sentence to determine the word meaning. The man was very portly, but his wife was very thin. The word portly means, do you think it means skinny, tall, or overweight? The best answer is overweight. The context clues in this sentence are using antonyms. His wife is very thin, but he is portly. Let's take a look at this second sentence. Ballet students seem so lithe. They are so agile and flexible. The word lithe means pretty, bendable, or stiff. What do you think the best answer is? The best answer is bendable. This sentence gives you context clues in the form of synonyms. Agile and flexible. Let's do another one. The speech was sublime, very moving. It brought tears to my eyes. What do you think the word sublime means? Inspiring, awful, or long? The best answer for this one is inspiring. The clue very moving helps you figure out what sublime means. Let's take a look at this next sentence. Most condiments, like pepper and mustard, improve the flavor of foods. Another condiment would be packets, hot dogs, or ketchup. Ketchup is the best answer. This sentence uses examples to show you what the word condiments means. The examples are pepper and mustard. So let's practice. Now we're going to practice using context clues in paragraphs. Listen carefully. Think, what is the meaning of the bolded word? Jana is afraid of heights. Her teacher, Mr. Thomas, told her not to worry about being frightened of anything. He said that many people have a phobia, such as fear of water, fear of tight spaces, and fear of the dark. What does the word phobia mean, and how did you figure it out? The word phobia means a fear. You probably figured it out using the context clues, such as a fear of water, fear of tight spaces, and a fear of the dark. Those are examples of phobias. Here's another practice of using context clues in paragraphs. Listen carefully and think to yourself, what is the meaning of the bolded word? Kirk seemed to trip over everything. Even when paying close attention, he bumps into things. Kirk was very gawky. He was known as having 2 left feet. He was much different than his sister, Amelia, who was very graceful. What does the word gawky mean, and how did you figure it out? The word gawky means clumsy. You probably figured it out by using the antonym context clue about his sister. He was much different than his sister, Amelia, who was very graceful. So you know that graceful is an antonym or the opposite of gawky, and the opposite of graceful is clumsy. Here's another practice of using context clues in paragraphs. Listen carefully and think to yourself, what is the meaning of the bolded word? Jody learned something new from watching the news. She learned that there are many people and animals in the world that are famished. Other people sometimes feel sorry for them and will give them food to eat. What does the word famished mean? And how did you figure it out? The word famished means starving or hungry, and you probably figured it out through the context clue. Other people sometimes feel sorry for them and will give them food to eat. Okay, and that is using inferencing context clues. I want you to read the sentence and determine the meaning of the underlined word, as well as which context clue strategy you use to help you solve for the meaning. Some people who live in cities are affluent, while others live in poverty. What do you think the underlined word means? The underlined word means rich, wealthy, well off, or prosperous. And what context clue strategy did you use to help you figure that out? Antonym. While others live in poverty. Poverty is the opposite of affluent. So you use that antonym strategy to figure out what the word affluent means. Let's do another one. Read the sentence and determine the meaning of the underlined word, as well as which context clue strategy you use to help you solve for the meaning. Some reading genres include fairy tale, fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. What do you think the underlined word genres means? It means a type, a sort, a kind, or a category. What context clue strategy did you use to help you figure that out? You probably used the examples because it says include fairy tale, fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. Those are examples of genres, and they can help you figure out what the word genre means. Let's read another sentence and determine the meaning of the underlined word, as well as which context clue strategy you use to help you solve for the meaning. I wonder if that fruit on the tree is edible or able to be eaten. What do you think the underlined word means? Eatable or digestible? Something you can eat is what edible means. What context clue strategy did you use? You probably used definition. The definition is right here in the sentence. It's, I wonder if the fruit on the tree is edible or able to be eaten. This is the definition of the word. Let's take a look at this sentence. The mountain path was a tortuous road, winding and twisting like a snake's around the trees. What do you think the underlined word torturous means? I'm sorry, the word is tortuous. What do you think the word tortuous means? It means twisting, winding, or bending. What context clue strategy can you use to figure that out? You can use the synonym strategy. The words winding and twisting like a snake help you figure out what the underlined word means. Mary thought watching golf was very vapid. She always yawned and thought about other things. What do you think the underlined word means? The underlined word means dull, uninteresting, unexciting, or boring. And what context clue strategy did you use? To figure out what the word vapid means, you would use the inference strategy. The inference is here. She always yawned and thought about other things. That is a big clue to tell you what the word vapid means. And that is all I have for this making inferences, using context clues lesson. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and send me an email or give me a call and let me know. I'm happy to help.